Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 Xbox One review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at TitanFall with my TitanFall pad. Yay! So, I really do like the design of this. It only just came today. I've had to wait several days. I mean, the console came first and I've been sitting here playing TitanFall without a pad and it just felt like sacrilege really. I mean, it was terrible. But now I've got my pad and yeah, it's only aesthetic, but I like having it. TitanFall, probably the biggest of the big, the absolutely massive Xbox One exclusive that isn't exclusive because you can buy it on the 360 and the PC, and most people are actually saying the PC version might be better. It's definitely graphically better, but either way, it's an exclusive. That's what Xbox One fans here, and I suppose I can consider myself that one now because I really like having the system. But yeah, it's one of those. If you've got access to an Xbox 360 or a PC, you might want to take the look at, because to quote one Ron Burgundy, it's kind of a big deal. This is coming from someone who not only detests COD, but can count on his hands, without needing to take socks off or anything for your feet, how many games since getting Xbox Live in 15 years ago, just how many online games that I've actually liked. And to be fair, I think it was 15 years ago, it was around about when I was 12, 13 I think. Either way, it's the amount of games that I actually play online and have liked online is slim to none compared to the amount of games that I've bought with online. I just don't buy into the whole thing. A lot of the time lag can ruin it for me, or arseholes can ruin it for me, and I'm just happier playing local or playing a single player game. It's very rare that I find a game that I can play online with mates and we can have fun with. And that's the only gutting thing about this, the fact that none of my mates have an Xbox One, so I've got no one to play it with. And trust me, I'm going to be working on them every day now pretty much to try and get one, just to have something to play this with, because it's amazing. And that really is saying something for me. So, all that spiel out the way. At the start you've got play, you can go into store, you can go into the intro, which a lot of people don't even know what the story of this game is, because there's so much going on in an online game that you can't even concentrate on the story, to the point that I don't even know why they put it in there. They didn't include a single player campaign mode, so why the hell would they include an online campaign mode? It just make it an online game, you know. Don't get me wrong though, I would love to now see a single player campaign for Titanfall. I think it would work amazingly, but I understand why they didn't do it, but I'd still like to see one. Options, you've got quite a lot of stuff. You can go into your controller settings and you can change your look sensitivity and that. You can view your button layouts and things and just change them around, but there's no like full customization of the controls and that, which I never really understand why people don't do it. But at the same time, the default layout for me works extremely well. There's not a button that I would replace, but everyone's going to be different, you know, and having more options is never exactly a bad thing. It's not as if anyone's ever looked at a game and said, you know what this game needs? Less options. It just doesn't happen. Most likely it's a case of, you know what this game needs? And actual options, because a lot of games contain options which is change the sound effect and the music volume and that's it. Which you can still do that on this. Well, at least you can change the music volume for classic MP and that, and you can change the settings, you can put subtitles on if you want to. You can also put auto sprint on, which is one of the most amazing things. I mean, not since the days of Doom have I been able to choose auto sprint, because I rarely walk anywhere on an FPS, and I don't understand why it's so enforced. If there's a sprint meter, I'll understand that. It adds to the strategy. Do you sprint now? Do you sprint later? Do you sprint get to a weapon? Or do you wait in case someone jumps you and you need to sprint to get cover, you know? But when there isn't a sprint meter and you can just pretty much go hell belt all the time, then I don't understand why it's not an option. For now, I'm going to be going into the training, just simply because as you can see, I'm kind of really new to this, and at the same time I don't really want to ruin anything by going on and just getting absolutely hammered whilst I'm trying to do a review of it. But the training itself is pretty decent way to show off what the game can do. There's pilot loadouts and Titan loadouts like on a lot of games and that, and there's 6 Titans overall. I'll also say there are 15 maps in the regular game, and there are well, I don't know how many maps in the Season Pass, if I'm honest, because the first packs came out and that was 3 maps. So if every pack's 3 maps, then it's going to be 9 maps total, because I'm pretty sure my Season Pass said it contained 3 packs. But for all I know, it could be 3 maps for the first one, then 3 maps for the second one, and then they'll just completely come out of left field like certain games have done before. I think Gears of War did it, where after everyone said, oh, it'll be another this XYZ number of maps, and then they actually almost doubled it and said, no, we had some in reserve to kind of go, there you go, there's the last big push. So I think me and a lot of Titanfall fans would love to see that, because that would mean you get like 6 maps, and then if the last pack ended with another 5, then it's almost doubling the game's map pack for half the cost of the game, which, considering the game's just an online shooter, that's actually a large amount of content when you think about it. Because if it was a game where there's still a huge campaign and that, then you'd probably complain that a £20 season pass only giving you a few maps, you know. But when it's the whole point is to play online, then I actually think it's been a well-priced and well-done season pass. At the same time, if now that I've finally bought it, they decide to drop it in time for the next pack coming out and see it's now only going to be £15, I'll be kicking off to the high heavens. But that's just life, you know. Anyway, the training simulator, of course, starts with the obvious, and I will never, ever understand why it insists on making you check your up and down, because anyone who doesn't understand what invert is, I just don't get it. Surely people have played enough games to understand what inversion is, and surely the moment you first put it on, you'll be able to realise to then hit start to go straight into the options to uninvert it or invert it, you know? So I don't understand why a training simulator has to come up that, and it does seem like every single frigging one these days does it now. It's just, it's almost like teaching your grandmother how to suck eggs, as the saying goes, you know? Anyway, the whole point of the game, obviously, you play online, you kill everyone, and that's pretty much the gist of it. How the game works is just, oh, it's brilliant. It's so fluid. You get the ability to instant run, as I say. There's then the ability to wall run. Then there's the ability to run and jump from walls to match it up to basically do a Ninja Gaiden thing where you can go from wall to wall to wall without ever stopping if you're good enough, and if you time your jumping enough. And I tried to do it there, forgetting that in the training I don't have what I was about to say next. There's then also, because of the fact that you're wearing, like, I think they call it a boost pack in this, or a jump pack or something, and it's what gives you a lot of these abilities. There's the ability to actually double jump, so it means that you can wall run to wall to wall to double jump to this, that and the other, and it's so fast and so insane. You'd think you'll never be able to do it, but for me it was like second nature within seconds of playing the game. I just couldn't believe it, and now it's, as I say, I'm kind of having the difficulty of being limited by the training because it's not giving me a full access to everything that I've learnt how to play as. So this is certainly a bit weird, only having 1 or 2 of the abilities at a time. Weaponry on the game is fantastic. Everyone who knows my 3DS vids knows that I've got terrible eyesight. I keep mentioning it because whenever I do a 3DS review and I don't mention the 3D, some people kick off and go, well, why the hell didn't you mention that? It's because I can't see in 3D because my vision's bad. Why is this applicable on a Xbox One vid? Well, it's a first-person shooter. Because weapons have different accuracies and things, often first-person shooters for me are a nightmare to play because my vision is so bad. I've went from being a classier sniper, honestly, back in the days of the early Halo games and that, me and my mate would just terrorise everyone we knew when we'd play locally because we'd be the snipers and we'd pick each other off. The whole point was we'd sit on opposite sides of the map trying to find each other, but anyone else who walked into the crosshairs, well, bad luck for them. And as my eyesight's deteriorated, I've just completely lost that ability. So the fact that when I put this game on and my very first kill was a headshot, and then the majority of my kills on the entire game were headshots, says something to not only how good the graphics are to be able to point your gun in the direction and to see exactly what you're aiming at, even if you've got bad vision. Granted, obviously everyone's got varying degrees of bad vision, so I'm not saying this is gospel or anything for the people who are half blind or anything. But the graphics are so good and the weapons are so accurate. I was actually feeling like, you know, 10, 12, 13 years ago when I was actually able to snipe everything in sight, and I absolutely loved it. And that's, I suppose, also my segue into the graphics of this game are amazing. So everyone who keeps going on and on about the Xbox only did 900p, this, that and the other, play the game, watch the game, see how absolutely amazing it looks, because it really is stunning. There's then, going back to the weaponry, and basically it's this part of the demo, I believe. Yes, the pistol that you've got are auto-targeting, and it's amazing. You'd think it would totally wreck the balance of things, but it doesn't. Basically, as it's currently actually explaining on screen, by being in the general direction of the compass, I mean there, I'm barely pointing at him, I've got the minusculest of my cursor on him, it was still able to lock on, I'm able to fire, and it just makes the pistol amazing. But there's then things like the, I had a type of carbine, or carbine, I don't really know particularly how that's pronounced. I think it's a regional thing. I think Americans might say carbine and we might say carbine, and because I've seen a lot of World War II things, I quite often hear both, you know. And it's just one of those things that you'd think, or if all the weapons had it, it would totally ruin the game, but the fact that it's just the pistol is great. And then there's things like the machine guns, as I say, and the accuracy is so good, and the things you can do in the game is so great with it, that it plays amazingly well. And this is, to be fair, I think this is the exact carbine that I got, and it's one of them. I know fine well I'm going to mess up now, just simply because I said I was actually quite good at the weapon, but the whole weaponry on the game, I don't have any complaints at all about it. There's then obviously the big draw, the Titans, and oh man, the Titans are just they're phenomenal. I have always loved mech games ever since I played Mech Warrior on the SNES, and the things that you can do on it are amazing. Oh, to be fair, I'll also mention the grenades, seeing as this is the grenade section here, and hopefully you saw that. I've got to throw grenades through windows. On Killzone on the PS4, I am awesome with grenades. All my mates cannot believe the amount of times that I'll just get like so many points from a grenade shot, and the grenades are great on it. The physics on this, however, are better, because as you probably just saw, and you might have to rewind, the explosion of one grenade can greatly impact the direction of another grenade. You can't just go pelt, pelt, pelt with grenades and expect them all to go exactly where you want, because as long as they're within the radius of an explosion, it's going to alter the course. And that is magnificent, because it is so rare that I actually say that, and it's just the attention to detail, it's excellent. But anyway, I've mentioned the things now back to the Titans basically, which hopefully I'll be able to talk long enough to actually get to the Titan part of the training. But it's one of those, the Titans themselves, ever since the days of Mech Warrior, I've absolutely loved mech games, and the other thing that I honestly thought I would like the most on this, and playing as a human, playing as a pilot basically, running around doing the wall jumps and things like that, it is great. When you're in the mech, it actually says as part of the training, to be fair, that it's an expansion of your body. Well, it's not, because you can't jump and you can't wall run or anything. You've just got a boost system instead. But don't get me wrong, that isn't exactly a bad thing. When you're actually in them, you get a cool HUD, which hopefully again you'll be seeing soon, and you get different powers depending on the Titans, of which there are 6 at the moment. I don't know if any more is coming as part of the season pass. I'd love to see, I mean, even if they just made it 3 maps per pack, but the last pack also added 2 more Titans, you know, and you might be thinking, well, 6 types, that's really boring, that's really bad. But they've done that because balancing is amazing on because of that. There's big Titans with huge guns and armor, but they're really slow, and then there's small Titans with barely any armor, but they're really speedy, and they've got a chain gun style weapon and that, and it's just, depending on your play style, there's going to be a Titan most likely that suits your needs. Personally, I prefer the speedier ones, and I definitely prefer the ones with the machine guns, the chain guns, Vulcan cannons, that sort of thing. To be fair, I don't know if one of them is a Vulcan cannon, I just know that that's a type of machine gun that you quite often get on games, which is why I mention it, for hopefully people to be able to, can you tell I'm padding this out, you know? Can you tell I'm trying to just like out-talk the guy so that I can actually get into the Titan, which, there it is there. There's different perks of that on the game as well, and there's different things to unlock, and one of them is the quite cool ability to, when you're a pilot, you can jump onto a mech, you can jump onto a Titan, and you can start ripping its guts out essentially and ruin it, which, as you're in a Titan, that's the worst thing possible really that can happen to you, other than coming up against a firefight with a couple of them that'll kick your ass. So there's an ability that you can get which basically fires off a type of, I think it's considered chaff, where basically smoke happens, an electroplasma thing happens, and it doesn't really kill the guy, but it knocks him off, so you then can get a safety turn around and kill him. But you don't get that at the start of the game, which is why I really wish I'd remembered to see an X-BOXONE on that, which I'm trying to not actually activate that at the same time as doing the vid, but hopefully you'll have heard what I've just said or deciphered it. It's the sort of thing that I would have loved to have shown you now, because my little brother, when he came up, purely because he slagged this game off something rotten despite not playing it, which he said himself, he had to eat humble pie and immediately take it back. He couldn't believe what I'd done, considering at the time it was my first game on the entire game. All I'd done was the training, which was in front of him. Someone jumped on my back. I didn't have that ability to get him off, so I did the only thing I could think of. I held X to jump out my Titan, I equipped my carbine, I turned round, I shot the guy square in the head, I then jumped back in my Titan, dashed away to safety, and started to kill everything. And it's just absolutely amazing the things that you can do in the game because of that. And it's just one of those things that, as I say, as you might have already gathered, for someone who hated Call of Duty, and this was always pegged as Call of Duty with mechs from a lot of people, it is further from the truth. I mean, it cannot be farther from the truth. This really isn't Call of Duty with mechs. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be similarities because it's an FPS. There's going to be similarities in even the menu type, because my brother who plays Call of Duty incessantly, I think that's the right word, just basically constantly, non-stop, you know, it's one of those things that when there's a new Call of Duty out, you don't even see him for like several months at a time, because all him and his friends are doing are playing that. He straight away said, oh yeah, you can tell this is made by the same people because the menu system's done in the same way. But then as soon as he started playing the game, it was just like, yeah, this isn't Call of Duty. And it's just one of those things that, as I say, for someone who absolutely hated COD and for someone who absolutely hated online gaming, the things that have been done with TitanFall, I can see me playing this for years, quite easily, until TitanFall 2 comes out, which, if TitanFall 2 comes out for the PS4, I'll probably get it on that, purely because I've got more people to play it with. But if it remains an Xbox exclusive, then I've got no qualms with buying it, because this is just absolutely amazing, and at least I'll be able to play Titanfall 2 with my Titanfall pad. As well as having guns and that, one of the things which it's actually saying now is that you've got a cool little shield, and basically my brother described this as Matrix, and it's probably the right way, because all these bullets go in front of you just like Neo with the Matrix. You then let go, it fires them all back at the enemy, you kill them, or at least deal damage to them, and that's really cool. You've got like almost like anti-tank missiles, I suppose the way to put it, but where when you push the right bumper, you'll just fire out a hail of missiles if your mech's equipped with them. And they're really cool because they're something that you can tend to, at least in my experience, I fire them out just to get some distance between me and a mech, because if you see all those things coming, then you're going to get the hell out of the way, and if you're in danger, you can fire that to then get yourself to a better advantage point. There's then also the ability to get out of your Titan at any point. As I've already said, I jumped out and shot the guy, but you can get out and the Titan will do pretty much what you command it to. It'll then be controlled by an AI, and you can tell it to follow behind you, and obviously it'll protect you in that, or you can tell it to stay put if you want to try and be stealthy, you know. I mean, this situation here in the training, you get out, you activate a console to open a gate, so you could hold the Titan up somewhere, jump out, sneak in, open the gate, call the Titan to you, jump into the Titan, and then before your enemy knows it, they've been breached by not just a pilot, but a Titan, because the pilot's able to do things that the Titan can't, and is far less visible than the Titan, because obviously they're, well, massive, hence their names. And it's just one of those things that you can tell they've spent a lot of time on this. You can tell there's a lot of love for this game in the office. It's not at all something like they've said, right, let's just copy and paste as much as we can from other genres and let's just release a subpar game and make a load of money because everyone will go, oh yeah, it's a Call of Duty guy, so they'll buy it. I think this is them basically saying, stop calling us the Call of Duty guys, we're now the Titanfall guys. And as far as I'm concerned, they're the Titanfall guys. This is an absolutely spectacular game. As I've already said multiple times, if you have the ability to play it, play it. if you don't like online shooters, I'd like to think that it's going to convert you to the point of at least liking this, because as I say, and I've said multiple times, I'm not exactly a huge fan, but I love the hell out of this, and it's something that I can again see me playing a lot. I suppose the only thing I don't think I've really mentioned that I should, you might have guessed, is there's an energy meter on the Titans, and that's why they're not invincible on that. Basically, you've got the shielding, which is the little bar around the big bar, and then the big bar is your energy. Your shielding comes back if you get cover, the energy does not, so you've got to be careful. And the only other thing I can mention is Titans aren't exactly infinite. When you're playing online, you've got a timer that'll tell you when your next Titan's available, and you can do things to reduce that timer by basically playing well and being awesome with the pilot. It explains that to you on your first game. It says depending on what you do, depends on how long you'll wait for a Titan in any one given time. But at the same time, as far as I'm aware, it's impossible to get to the point to be so good unless the perfect circumstance happened where everyone spawned in front of you at all times, so that like you'd have like a 10-second cooldown between Titans. I just don't think that's possible. I believe the normal one's 230, and then it'll just keep dropping, obviously. And it's got a good balance between how many Titans are on the game at any one time, because that's the other thing I suppose I should mention, is the controversy. Everyone kept saying, and I'll be honest, myself included, there's 12 people online and then 36 bots, and I kept saying, as a lot of people, how the hell's that going to work? Surely that's boring, having all these bots and having very few people. And the Titanfall devs kept saying, just play it. Play it. Don't worry about it, you'll see why we did it. And everyone kept saying the same thing, and I'll be honest, myself included, they kept thinking, well, we know the game better than the people who made it, it's going to be terrible, there's not going to be enough people, and all they kept saying was, just play it, you'll see why we've done it like that. And having now played it, I see why they've done it like that. There's never been a problem when we finding someone in a firefight. There's never been a problem when we finding a human. This is one of the cool things, I suppose. When you get ejected from the Titan, you get like, you fire up into the air, and you can still do your double jump in there as well to help you move along. There's no parachute or anything, because you'd be a sitting duck, because there are games like Battlefield where when you're in a parachute, you're a sitting duck. But yeah, it's just one of those things. For everyone thinking that 12 people is an off point, is a bad point, a negative point, unfortunately I've got to say the same as Respawn, just play it. And to be fair, I believe it's Respawn. I may have just dropped a complete clanger, because I know that Infinity Ward split into, I think, 3 different devs now, and I think Respawn's the one who did this. I'm at least hoping that Respawn's the one who did this. But either way, if it's not the Titanfall dev, I suppose I'll call them, you just have to play it and you'll see why they've done it with 12 people. Yeah, maybe with Titanfall 2 they might cave and they might go 20 people online with no bots, but at the same time I think that will drastically change how the game handles, and that might then ruin the franchise with the second game, you know. And I don't know if it's something that they could then patch out to get the bots back in and to get the people count down. The one thing I suppose I will see is, I do think I would have preferred 12 people online with no bots and maybe making the maps a little smaller. I think that might have been the better way to do it, because I suppose that was my biggest complaint, the fact that I thought I'd be constantly killing bots. Turns out it's farther from the truth. I'm not constantly killing bots. Yeah, you kill them because you see them, and they're quite noticeable because of the fact that they're robots, which I quite like. But it's one of those, you have to play it to understand why they've did it, and that's the only thing I can really say about it. So that's pretty much all I can say then, which for a lot of people is probably glad, because I've just noticed how long this is. But people might have noticed a recent trend. If I really love a game, I tend to talk about it a lot, and I really love this game. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel, because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.